on robots. I'm not sure where the word robot comes from. It seems a strange word, and it sort of doesn't quite sound Latin or Greek, but anyway, probably more Greek. And I suppose what we all mean by it is a device, a machine, basically, which runs on some sort of power, electricity or something else. A machine, but it has increasingly within it some sort of intelligence, some sort of artificial intelligence. In other words, in a very limited way, it can carry out instructions and perform acts autonomously. So, in the old folklore stories of people who did a magic spell, and the sorcerer's apprentice who did a magic spell and made his brushes and brooms and pails of water and so on work autonomously. That was creating sort of robots. And robots have featured in fiction and science fiction, obviously, through a long period. And they are increasingly part of our world. It's possible that when someone looks back on our period now, they will say it is the age of robots, that we just didn't realize. Sometimes I'm shocked when I see a film of, for example, Chinese or other factories, and I see that there's hardly any human there. There are these very complex looking machines making the cars and other equipment. And we are now beginning to be used to the idea that robots will be wandering along our streets and delivering our goods and looking after old people, and many, many other spheres where we never thought that we would have these intelligent machines. And there are films and programs about how if you put on a human-like face and you give them a voice synthesizer and teach them language, they become very almost indistinguishable from humans. Indeed, they might soon pass the famous Turing test, Alan Turing tests, which basically means that if you place one of these things behind a screen and a human behind another screen, a third human interrogating them can't tell which is the robot and which is the human being. That's a simplified, oversimplified view of it. But many of them are capable of doing certain actions just as well as humans, and indeed often better. That is the thing about robots. They take the division of labour, so they are usually specifically designed to do something, to mow a lawn or to carry some goods or to welcome people to a store. And that they do extremely well because they don't get tired, they don't demand higher wages. They are at your beck and call. They are in fact the perfect slave. They are taking the concept of slavery because you can buy and sell robots, you can destroy robots. They have an inferior position, they don't have any rights, though I expect soon there will be the robots' rights lobby, and there may be already. So they are perfect slaves, and therefore they overlap with categories humans have been used to, which are slaves, and with animals, because we treat animals in history as robots. They do what we ask them to do. They're intelligent. Horses, dogs, they do what we ask them. But they are sentient biological creatures, and these new creatures are mechanical. But of course, the advances mean that soon they will be probably mixed biological and mechanical. And one obvious apprehension people have is that as they become cleverer and more with some biology in them, then as people are now beginning to say, they feel things, they care, they may even have some self-awareness, so that the line between humans and robots is getting thinner and thinner. I won't be here to see the outcome of this, but it's a fascinating area which I've seen the birth and growth of, because over my life there were really none of these kinds of robots when I was a child, except obviously animals and slaves. But now my world and your world is filled with robots.